Graphic images show the aftermath of the violence as victims lie bloodied on the R train platform inside the 36th Street station, where the train stopped after the shooting. Police say around 8:30 this morning, a man wearing a gas mask and orange vest detonated multiple smoke grenades and shot at least 10 people. 13 others were wounded. Chopper 2 captured the massive scene as officers swarmed the entire area between the stations. Ijara Gonzalez was walking her 6-year-old daughter to school when she saw people running out of the train station.
All you hear was a lot of commotion. Supposedly there was a big explosion. We're thinking, maybe something was on fire, and it was that there was people running out of the train station. There was people hurt, bleeding. We didn't know, what was really going on until I started hearing that people were getting shot and that there was people laying out on the platforms.
But to see the people coming out bloodied, how terrifying was that?
That's scary. You don't know what's going on. This is serious. This has gotten really bad. This is very, you got to take precautions everywhere you go. You got to, watch your back, and it's been a hectic morning.
Counterterrorism officers and bomb-sniffing dogs were stationed at 25th and 4th as investigators looked at multiple other devices found inside the station, later determined not to be explosives.
There was a young man who came up to the station booth, which was some yards away from me, and he was bleeding from the legs. He had been, I guess he was injured. He was bleeding, his pants are partly down, so I guess he's injured on the upper legs, and he was just alerting people to what happened, and so he was telling the station agent that people had been injured and they're bleeding.
The search for that gunman continues right now. Again, police think this was a coordinated attack. They're investigating whether it was connected to terrorism or a criminal act. They're looking for at least one gunman, but right now they do think they've narrowed down on one suspect wearing that orange vest, trying to disguise himself as some kind of construction worker, perhaps an MTA worker, and protecting himself from the terror he inflicted on the commuters wearing that gas mask. The FBI, the ATF are on scene here investigating. And again, the city's Office of Emergency Management is reaching out to the families impacted. Just so much uncertainty for the families who knew their loved ones were on their way to work in the city doing their normal daily routine. Now they're not able to get in touch with them. The OEM is reaching out to families, but if you are uncertain about where your loved one is, you're also encouraged to call 311. The folks there can try to help coordinate, explain where they are, maybe get you in touch with a local hospital. For now, we're live in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.
And Jessica, we understand that police continue to stretch that cordoned off area to a greater area.
That's exactly what we're seeing, Mary. So we're here at 25th and 4th, but you can see all the way down to that 36th Street station where the train with the wounded ultimately stopped. Police continue to stretch it back. We don't exactly know why right now. We just know that as we've been out here over the last couple of hours, we've seen an increasing police presence. We've seen officers from various task forces. We've seen, again, those bomb-sniffing dogs as they just continue to hone in on what happened. At one point, as I mentioned in my piece there, they saw multiple undetonated devices down inside the subway station. Those were all determined not to be explosive devices. They determined that the imminent threat to the community and to commuters had dissipated. However, those bomb-sniffing dogs were going down there just to make sure that that was the case. Given what had just happened, they weren't sure if this man had a more sinister plan, a broader plan, and so they're certainly doing a thorough investigation.
And Jessica, as you're talking about that, we're also hearing from the Department of Education now a shelter-in-place order for schools around the 1-mile radius. Many students now kept at school. They will not be able to leave their buildings, and enhance security for any adult going to those buildings.